Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Good evening, everybody. My name is Richard Stewart. I'm the Mayor of Coquitlam. I want to begin by apologizing for the slight delay. We've been in non-stop meetings and without a break, and we'll get going right now. I want to begin with a little bit of an announcement, and I'll throw it over to Councillor Robinson to complete it, because 3 cities have once again been asked to support the food drive through some friendly competitions. This relates to the Share Food Bank. From June 1st to June 21st, Share is asking Coquitlam staff, patrons and residents to support the food bank by bringing non-perishable food items and cash checks to our facilities, including our libraries and our senior centres. Every dollar raised is the equivalent of about 2 pounds of food, and the competition that we've got going for us, the big weigh-in, is June 21st. And last year we brought in 4,300 pounds, and Port Coquitlam, is that number right?
Yes.
And Port Coquitlam brought in 14,000 pounds. So we have some work to do. The year before we were very close, but of course we also are balanced based on the ratio of our population. So I'm going to throw it over to Councillor Robinson, whose idea this always is, and who gets us into this kind of trouble. So, Councillor Robinson.
Well, I think it's the best kind of trouble to get in. The Tri-Cities is served by the Share Family and Community Services, and they coordinate 3 different food banks throughout the Tri-Cities region. And every year, particularly since the downturn in the economy, the food bank demands are continuing to grow, and it's a real problem in our community. I think we ought to be addressing it with other solutions, but in the interim, the food bank is the shelves are pretty bare. And so one of the things that we've done with several of other council members, and I think, is it Councillor Reid has already got a check for us? Thank you, Councillor Reid.
What timing.
Yes. I'm waiting for the rest of you to cough up your checks. And so with help from Diana Dilworth of Port Moody and Glenn Pollock at the City of Port Coquitlam, the 3 of us worked together with Share to bring awareness to our respective communities and encouraging the residents to remember the food bank for 3 weeks, and we do a little friendly competition. Typically it ends up with the losing mayors having to wear the winning city's T-shirt or something like that at a council meeting. And I'm very competitive and really want to beat the Port Coquitlam. They raised 14,000 pounds last year, and so we have to triple our efforts, and hopefully both the mayors of Port Coquitlam and Port Moody will wear an I Love Coquitlam T-shirt at some point in July, and we can sit back and just take pleasure in that. So I would encourage all the residents of our fine city to pay attention. Starting June 1st, there will be collection boxes in all of our civic buildings, including our libraries. Be sure to drop off food or checks for the food bank, and it will go to a good cause. So thank you very much.
Councillor Sikora said, whispered in my ear that his check is in the mail, but actually he's handed me his check, so there we go.
Thanks, Lou.
We're paid up.
Thank you.
Return the one that's in the mail. Okay?
Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you, I've taken one for the team. The last couple of years, I've worn the I Heart Poco or I Heart Port Moody shirts, and I really want to retire those shirts. So otherwise, I'm going to have to wash them eventually. Okay. Thank you all. Now, public hearing. On behalf of the City Council, I'd like to welcome everyone this evening. This is a public hearing into the bylaws that will be introduced to you in a moment by the Deputy City Clerk. Council for the City of Coquitlam has given first reading of these bylaws so that a public hearing can be held. That's the next step. We want to hear from the public. Staff from the City's Planning and Development Department will first present a summary of each proposed bylaw, and then the floor will be open to anyone in attendance that wishes to present his or her views on the proposed bylaw. Those that have pre-registered will be given the first opportunity to speak, and I stress to you all that this is a public hearing. It's an opportunity for anyone who has a view on the proposed bylaw to make that view known to council members. Council members are here with an open mind and are here to listen to your input. No one has prejudged the outcome of these applications, but there are some rules. It's not a question and answer period. It's an opportunity for you to speak and give us your opinion. It's not an opportunity for you to debate the merits with anyone else in the room who might be opposed to your point of view. So we ask that you restrict your comments to the proposed bylaw, be as brief and concise as possible. We're asking speakers to limit themselves to a 5-minute time limit in order that everyone who wishes to speak is able to do so. You can speak for more than 5 minutes if you got some really good stuff, but you got to get to the back of the line and we'll do it again. So you speak as often as you like, as long as you're providing new or additional information. We ask that the audience be respectful of each speaker and allow that speaker to make his or her viewpoint known without interruption. So please no clapping and no booing and no cheering or anything of any presentations made this evening. As chair of this hearing, I reserve the right to conclude any presentation. In fact, council has asked me to conclude any presentation that doesn't relate to the bylaw, becomes abusive, or becomes repetitive of views that speaker has already made known to council members. Please note that if you wish to provide a written submission, if you've got something written that you want to hand in and have it be part of the permanent record, you must hand it to Kerry before that item adjourns. After that item adjourns, council can receive no further information. This is the law. We can't receive any further information on that item until we've made the final determination at fourth reading. Immediately following adjournment of the public hearing tonight, we're going to have another one. It's called a public meeting. It'll be slightly different, but we're going to follow the same rules as the public hearing, in that while a public hearing isn't required for the second item, we're going to do it anyway. We want to get the public's opinion on that. We want them to have every opportunity to make their views known to council, and we thank the proponent for suggesting essentially that we do this process again. But we can't do it as a public hearing for technical reasons, but we'll do it as a public meeting. And after all of that, a regular council meeting will convene in order that council can give considerations to a number of items on its public council meeting agenda, but also to items on the public hearing agenda if council wishes to make determinations tonight. I'll now call on Ms. Lohr to introduce the other items on tonight's agenda, and Planning and Development staff to make a presentation on the first item.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item 1 is an application to amend City of Coquitlam zoning bylaw number 3000 to amend the M8 retail and light industrial zone to permit accessory specialty food retail use. Bylaw number 4302-2012.
Good evening, Your Worship and council members. This city-initiated zoning bylaw text amendment would amend the zoning bylaw to permit specialty food retail as an accessory use in the M8 retail and light industrial zone when located within a building used for the retail sale of household goods and business goods. The accessory use would be limited in size to 80 meters squared and to one use per lot. Staff are proposing this amendment to address the need for large format retail stores to provide small cafes or fast food dining services to accommodate their customers. Staff are recommending all final readings to bylaw number 4302-2012. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have a speakers list with nothing? Are there any speakers to this item? Are there any speakers to this item? Are there any speakers to this item? It's third and final time. Seeing none, I declare this item closed. And that's it then.
That's it. That would conclude the public
hearing. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. Thank you all for coming tonight.